Okie dokie. Frieren and Mao Mao are the same person. It's a weird statement to make about two completely different shows. One is about a girl who didn't realize her high school friend had always been confessing to her. One is a high fantasy set after the defeat of the Demon King, where instead of the hero, we follow the elf mage who has now lived long past the grand adventure. And the other is about a girl whose entire personality is being addicted to illegal substances. And the other is a historical fiction set in Imperial China, where an apothecary winds up in the Emperor's concubine palace and solves mysteries with a unique skill set. Doesn't really sound that similar, does it? Well, at first glance, that would be a reasonable assumption, but I've started to notice a lot of similarities between these two. Like, let me just describe one of them. An apathetic, somewhat nonchalant girl that at first seems distant and cold, but is actually incredibly kind and can't help but use their expertise to help those around them. Which character am I talking about? Kind of fits them both, doesn't it? Sure, the reasoning starts to differ when you look a bit closer. Frieren struggles with forming close connections because elves perceive time differently due to their long lives, and Mao Mao is just purposely pragmatic and tries to keep her head down out of trouble. But you can definitely see where I'm drawing the connections, right? Like, another example, while these two can be pretty aromantic or lacking romantic feelings, in their respective stories, they each have a guy in their lives that have a one-sided crush on them. Not only that, but the guy in love just so happens to be one of the most important people in their universes. For Frieren, we have Himmel, who I'm not sure if you're aware, but he's the hero that defeated the Demon King, the guy that brought peace to the entire continent. He has like statues of himself built in almost every village to celebrate his heroic deeds. Pretty darn important if you ask me. For Mao Mao, we have Jinshi, the eunuch who is in charge of the entire real palace that Mao Mao currently resides in, one of the closest confidants to the literal Emperor of China. And for anyone that has pieced together the numerous clues scattered throughout the anime, you'll probably realize just how special this guy is. If you haven't, well, fuck, I guess you're just an idiot. I don't know. Skill issue. Weird that Frieren and Mao Mao both have such high-class men head over heels for them, but nothing ever happens because their one and only love is their hobbies. Which, by the way, hobby is an understatement. These two are kind of obsessed with their passions. Like, they hyperfixate on this one thing and nothing else. Frieren loves magic. She's always collecting random spells and grimoires, even ones that seem kind of pointless, like one that turns sweet grapes sour and another that lets you see through clothes. Anyone that just perked up should punch themselves. She's so hell-bent on collecting them that she always opens any chest she comes across, which ends up making her easy prey for any mimics. Which, by the way, she knows a spell that lets her see if a chest is a mimic with 99% accuracy, but she still opens it anyway because what if that 1% holds a grimoire? Maybe she's into vor, who knows. Mao Mao, on the other hand, loves drugs. No, not the fun kind, the drugs used for medicine. She's always on the lookout for anything that can be used as medicinal ingredients, with a certain type that she has an unnatural attraction to. You see that bandage on her left arm? Well, the reason she always wears it is because it conceals the numerous scars she has after experimenting on herself with poison. Yep, she loves to poison herself, so much that she's addicted to that tingly, numbing feeling she gets, going into pure bliss as her body just completely shuts down. I guess this is the fun kind in her eyes, like she can only get off when she's going into cardiac arrest. The way these two react to their passions is so similar that it's almost uncanny.
宝の山だ。うひょー。全部は持っていけませんよ。
それは呪いの舞か何かか。
See what I mean? They're so predictable in how they react that other characters have used it against them, like Himmel convincing Frieren to always 100% explore dungeons, just in case of that one grimoire hidden behind a corner. Or anytime Jinshi tells Mao Mao to do anything for him in return for a rare medicinal ingredient. And their hyperfixations aren't just this funny quirk. Because of their obsessions, they've become incredibly OP in their respective worlds. Frieren is pretty obvious. Alongside the pointless spells, she's also amazing at combat magic, being able to defeat most high-class mages and demons with nothing but Soul Track, which is considered the most basic of basic attack spells. And remember, Zoltrak used to be a deadly killing spell created by one of the most fearsome demon generals. That was until Frieren took his spell and taught it to everyone. Like, what a massive flex that is. When everyone's super, no one will be. And the amount of feats she has in this show, like defeating Aura with nothing but her mana alone, breaking an unbreakable barrier, and the entire fight with her own clone. Like, you don't need me to tell you that Frieren is a low tier god. Mao Mao though, while not being conventionally strong, has her own unique skill set that is not to be scoffed at. She has deep knowledge on not just making numerous drugs, but is incredibly perceptive due to being raised in the red light district, which allows her to either solve numerous mysteries with ease, or manipulate those around her into doing her bidding. Also, remember how she likes to test poison on herself? Well, she's done it enough times that she's basically built up a resistance to most drugs and poisons. Girl got assigned to be a poison tester and was like, damn, this is my lucky day. She can shrug off snake venom, roofie herself with an aphrodisiac and remain standing, along with being able to drink several men under the table with her high tolerance. Last one isn't exactly OP, but as an Australian I find it very impressive. She's living proof that microdosing actually works, which is why you should start shooting yourself in the arm every day so that you'll eventually become bulletproof. Trust me, it works. And because of this, they're quite terrifying when they want to be. Like, Frieren is chill most of the time, but put her in front of a demon and she instantly locks in. Goes straight for the kill every time. None of that sympathetic villain shit. These guys are sociopaths, and Frieren is more than happy to commit a genocide. Honestly, finding out that Sosono Frieren can be translated to Frieren at the funeral, which at first you're like, oh, it's about Himmel's funeral, so sad. But no, that's not the only funeral Frieren is going to. She just so happens to go by another name, courtesy of having the highest demon kill count ever recorded. Still one of the hardest tile drops to ever exist. Mao Mao is no slouch either. If Frieren hates demons, Mao Mao just hates absolute idiots. We have this face powder that was found out to be poisonous, so Mao Mao ordered it to be banned and disposed of. While she was looking after someone who was ill from said powder, Mao Mao discovered that one of the handmaids was still using that same poisonous face powder on her, also that her mistress can still look pretty. What follows is Mao Mao bitch slapping the fuck out of her, dragging her by her hair, and then pouring poison all over her as she berates her for her stupidity. Like, damn, Jinshi is wet right now, and I don't blame him. Should have been me. Also, we can't forget this amazing scene here.
薬屋、
はい。
今度お前に会いたいという官がいるのだが、
どんな方ですか？
前から話している変人だ。名はラカンという。どうにか断っておく。
One of the few times a jump scare is used effectively, actually jumped down on my seat. Which leaves us, last but not least, honestly, I don't think I even need to say this one. Feel like everyone already knows, but just in case. Frieren and Mao Mao are both characters with autism. Or are they? I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually not sure if they have autism or not. I'm definitely not a psychiatrist, nor do I have autism myself. Probably. So I hesitate to just say, oh yep, these two, autism, definitely. So I decided to do some deep, extensive research to answer my question. Autism in older children. Signs of autism in older children include not seeming to understand what others are thinking or feeling, which feels more Frieren than Mao Mao. These two, not really. Having a very keen interest in certain subjects or activities is absolutely both of them. Getting very upset if you ask them to do something is basically Mao Mao and Jinchi's entire relationship. Finding it hard to make friends is more Frieren, and preferring to be on their own fits Mao Mao better. This is another no, and finding it hard to say how they feel just describes Sarah whenever she talks about Flam. So, based on these results, I think it's pretty clear what the answer is. Do Frieren and Mao Mao have autism? Maybe? I feel like you can argue it either way. Frieren is an elf and shouldn't be judged on human mental disorders, and Mao Mao just has a poison fetish. I'll leave it to you guys. Type down in the comments below. Are Frieren and Mao Mao on the spectrum? Are you team autism or team nuh-uh? Fight it out. And yeah, I don't know how to end this video. I guess all this talk has left me wondering if there's any other characters that have hyperfixations like Frieren and Mao Mao. Like, imagine there was some weird gamer that only played trash VR games, and they got so used to buggy, unfair gameplay that they just became cracked at games in general. And it was also a 2-core anime airing at the same time. Yeah, I don't know, if only that show actually existed. Oh well.